feels so right, cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up, you know the feelings deep inside. So what? You, what we've been through, I miss you. And you can't lie, you miss me too. If I roll through, but you...
In today's video, we're going to be responding to a comment about Aaliyah's You Got Nerve and it potentially having something to do with Jay-Z. Now that I'm looking at it in a bigger perspective, I feel like most of her songs could be about Jay-Z, including We Need a Resolution. And I know as crazy as it sounds, I think it's the fact. And I used to think that she was talking to the government, and I don't think the government had anything to do with her. She wouldn't have been booked for movies. But without further more to say, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I drop a video. Let's get into today's video. Now the comment just says,
please do a video about her last album being about her and Jay-Z's relationship, getting done wrong by him, saying F it, and giving Dame a chance cause who did Jay-Z think he was? And she couldn't believe he had the nerve. Loose Rap is about Beyonce. That move is what led to people falling out with her.
I think most of her songs on her album speaks about the relationship with Jay-Z, and I feel like another motive potentially could have been that she was speaking out against what happened with her and Jay-Z. You know, that could be another motive to want to silence her, because she was speaking a lot and what was going on and why she was doing the things she was doing and why she had become a very vicious person, which I don't think she was always like that. I think her viciousness came when people started to play with her when she got older. And when you grow up, no one's gonna run over you no more. We're gonna be getting into the lyrics of You Got the Nerve, because I never thought that that could be about Jay-Z, but she is seeming to always talk about men when it comes to expressing her feelings on who's giving her problems. Just like in We Need a Resolution, she's talking about some guy coming home late and what's his problem. It just goes in sync to how I feel about Jay-Z having been messing around with Beyonce while dating Aaliyah. I feel like that's how it went. Now this song just goes, gave you chances on top of chances, opportunities taken for granted. My reality is your infidelities. Cause insanity, why you asking me? Took my kindness for a sign of weakness. My own blindness caused my sadness. And y'all remember I said Aaliyah was very blind to most situations because she was just too nice to people. And for one, she was young and she thought that everyone had her best interest, which it wasn't like that at all. A lot of people just seen her as money. They were using her. They did not care for a friendship like she did. And I think a lot of people did that, especially around the time she went to the Bahamas. They took her kindness for weakness. They took her weakness for weakness because she was drained. And they got her when she was at her most low. My own blindness caused my sadness. She was blind. And I used to say that Aaliyah was very naive in situations, and I believe she was, especially around her first album. Of course, she was a kid. In her second album, she was a teenager, but still filling out the industry, so she was gonna be naive and listen. But that last album, she wanted everyone to know who she was. That's why that was a self-titled album. I believe a Red album speaks about her frustrations in her life and other things. No longer am I a slave over your madness. I am glad it's finally over. That line right there, no longer am I a slave over your madness. Didn't Jay-Z come off as a very controlling person? And I feel like that's how he is with Beyonce. I feel like he could have been trying to control Aaliyah. She was just an independent person. She did not want to be controlled, and I don't think that that's how it would have been with her and Damon. But Jay-Z, on the other hand, he was looking for a pawn. He really liked Aaliyah, but he was also looking at her as a pawn, something that could benefit him. This is a very strong verse within itself, and if you look up some of these words, it'll really give you a clear understanding of how she's feeling towards this person, this man. It will give you more of an open reach as to what the song could possibly be about. The chorus just says, who do you think you are now? I can't believe you got the nerve, boy. Clearly she's talking about a boy. The second verse just says, see, I'm tired of all the games that you seem to like to play. See, what you can do for me is forget you knew my name. Now, in this song, she seems ruthless. And wasn't she ruthless towards Jay-Z? She was hanging out with him, then out of nowhere, she just left him for his own friend. Right here, she said, See, what you can do for me is forget you know my name. She didn't even like Jay-Z, so it wouldn't be hard for her to speak to this man like that. She didn't really find him interesting. I think sincerely she grew tired of Jay-Z. He was just a leech. He was a groupie. He was a simp. And he's like one of those boys who you befriend and he likes you and you don't like him, and you've told him multiple times it's not like that. But he just doesn't get it through his head, and he just follows you everywhere and annoys you, calls you all the time. Just annoying. Aaliyah just was over Jay-Z. And I think she voiced her frustrations in a more womanly way through this album. I feel like she decided to make her situations with Jay into money, because why not? And a lot of people wanted to know. They kept asking about her and Jay-Z. And she kept having to tell them, oh, we're just friends. We hang out a lot. That's the homie. Nothing more, nothing less. She just didn't want to be attached to his name. This song gives very much someone's just irritating her and she's just over it at this point, and it fits. It's around 2001, which is kind of around the time she was messing with Jay-Z, 2000 to 2000. She was just over him. See, her qualities are less than pleasing. Jay-Z was not very pleasing. He was more of a leech than anything. He was a leech towards women. He wasn't like a man. See, Damon probably took control and was a man in the situation. But Jay-Z, he was like, I'll follow you anywhere. I'll gift you gifts to be with me. Like, I'll do anything to be with you. Just a weak man. And Aaliyah was a very mature woman. Why would a mature woman go for an immature man? This is giving very much their situation, but Aaliyah has a song called Read Between the Lines. And you really have to read between the lines. If you know, you know. You could piece together some type of puzzle and come to the conclusion that this might possibly be about Jay-Z. I got more than one reason for leaving. It's time to close shop, open new chapters. See, new beginnings is what I'm after. Get your skeletons up out my closet. Don't make me lose it. I just might lose it. This is not the first time she spoke about having skeletons in closets. She also mentioned this in More Than a Woman. Someone was making her angry and making her to where she was finna lose her mind. Who else would do that? Who else fits the description? And I looked up It's Time to Close Shop because if you really look up this stuff, you can find the meaning in a way that the artist is using it. Sorry if you hear music in the background and talking, that's my sister. And if you hear noise behind me or close by, that's the turtle. So many interruptions, but you gotta get at how you live. I gotta keep doing this, It's just something I gotta do, even when it's loud. Close up shop basically means cease business activity or operation, either temporarily or permanently. I think that Aaliyah decided to close her relationship out with Jay-Z permanently because she didn't have any feelings for him anyway. She didn't find him attractive. When he said, you used to tell your friends I was ugly and wouldn't touch me, I think he was talking about Aaliyah. And it would explain why Damon Dash had Aaliyah on his shirt. Because if the song wasn't meant for Aaliyah, why would they put the shirt in there for a tribute? If some of the song wasn't about Aaliyah. It just wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't do it. That's what close shop means. It also means closing off the past and starting fresh. She closed it out with Jay-Z and started fresh with Damon, didn't she? Like, if you look up these words, you can understand what she's talking about, because I know not all the time when I'm reading lyrics, I'm just like, yeah, I understand what she's saying or what she meant. No, I have to look it up, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, so then you could piece together who she might have been talking about. And at the end of the day, these are all theories. This has no truth to it. This is just something I personally believe could have been possible, and that's that. And I'm not trying to get anybody else to change their beliefs. You can believe what you want to believe. I seen a comment, somebody was like, it's still not gonna change what others believe, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just telling you how I feel, and if you agree, you agree. The bridge, it says, see, I'm tired of all the games that you seem to like to play. See, what you could do for me is forget you knew my name. But what I'm getting from this is basically she played him and went to his friend. She did that so that he would leave, and it did make him leave a little bit. They were still hanging out. She played him until he eventually left, and I think he eventually fell off from trying to get with her, especially after she slept with Damon. I think she did that. Like, I think she wanted to, But I also think she did it to piss Jay off, because what are the odds they all, like Damon said, ended up in the same house and then she goes upstairs with him? It's like she did it on purpose. I think it was for Jay-Z to get off her back. That's what I'm getting from this. She said, "Cause you talking me to saying, even sad that I'm here all by myself." She wouldn't be sad if Jay-Z left, you know what I'm saying? She would actually be happy. And all those all-white party photos, she looked annoyed with Jay. Like, he was just hovering around her. She couldn't enjoy the nights. And she just always looked annoyed around Jay-Z. Always. It wasn't a time she didn't. I definitely think that this could be about, well, some of these songs could be about Jay-Z. Now, there's nothing describing whether or not she explained what this video is about. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, because now that I'm thinking about it, these songs could most certainly be about Jay. He was just lingering always. I think she was tired of him. The comment also says Loose Rap is about Beyoncé. Now, somebody said Loose Rap was about the rapper Larice, which I think it was about multiple people. Just people who were always in her face, talking to her like they liked her. Then at the end of the day, they would be throwing shade behind her back. I've seen some comments. A lot of people were like, oh, Brandy and Aaliyah weren't beefing and Brandy wasn't throwing shade. And Brandy was actually on stage. I don't know if I can find it, but she was like, and shout out to my girl Leah. And then she looked to the side like she was being petty. One thing I want to say is Aaliyah was very comfortable with men. She seemed to always be friends with men. And I kind of understand that part, because women are always hating. And you can't be friends with females like that, because they try to knock you down. So it seems like she had more guy friends than girlfriends. You notice how the girls who were, I'm just going to say allegedly, but I personally feel like these girls were throwing shade. But the girls that was throwing shade, Beyonce, Brandy, and Larice, none of them became friends with Aaliyah like that. And those are still those same people that did not go to her funeral either. I mean, of course not Larice. After what she said about Aaliyah, why would she get an invite? But not only was Beyonce not there at her funeral, the whole Destiny's Child crew wasn't there. Michelle, Kelly. Why? If they were friends and hanging out as much as people think they were, you know, a lot of people were like, Beyonce and Aaliyah used to hang out. Wouldn't you think that she would have been at that all-white party, hanging with Aaliyah and Jay-Z? Beyonce was never at these parties, ever. But people loved inviting Aaliyah out. They never invited Beyonce. She never invited Beyonce. She would always show up or be hugged up with Natine. I'm pretty sure she went to parties with Kidada, Fatima, Missy, Timbaland, like her real friends. Why wasn't she never pictured with Beyonce? Another thing, she said that move is what led to people falling out with her. Now, I don't know if she's talking about the move with her and Jay-Z and what she did to him, but I think Aaliyah was burning bridges with a lot of people. And a lot of people didn't like that. Aaliyah had became a woman. She, at this time, more than anything, was about her peace. She was an adult, so she wasn't putting up with nothing else. I think a lot of people thought that they could still get over on her, but they thought wrong. And so that would turn a lot of people against her. Now, I just think they wanted to control her. She was money, and she was popular. She was successful, and Aaliyah, she was changing up her scenery. She was changing up her crew. She wasn't really working with people she worked with throughout her career. People who she called her closest friends. Why Aaliyah out of all people? They target Aaliyah and they take her life. Aaliyah, her last album is wonderful. It tells you everything you need to know. You're not just gonna make a self-titled album with your name on it with songs that don't reflect you. It just wouldn't make any sense. I always knew that her last album spoke about her. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But I definitely think she grew tired of Jay-Z, and she was exposing the in-depths of what went on and how she felt about this man. And I feel like Jay-Z could have been cheating on her. He could have been very rough with her, very verbal. She didn't approve of that, because you're not finna play in my face, and I don't even like you like that. You know, I don't even want to be seen with you. And people keep saying that he didn't want to go public with her. I find that very hard to believe. because she didn't need him. Why would she want to go public with him? And still to this day, like, Jay-Z, he is simp. And his wife is a simp too. Now I looked up infidelity, and it just says the action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other partner. She's talking about somebody's cheating on her. With I Can Be, I think that's about Damon Dash. She was willing to be with Damon Dash and he cheat. She didn't care about that. But when it came to Jay-Z, you're not even attractive. Why would I let you cheat on me and make me look dumb? See, with Damon, he was a boss. You can cheat on me, baby. You got money. You look good. And I like you. I can be the other woman in your life. Reality, we all know what reality means. But it just says the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic and notional idea of them. The state of quality of having existence or substance. Now what I'm getting from this is, I feel like she's basically saying like he's not appreciating her existence with him. I don't think she was okay with that. Like if you look up the particular words she was using, she wasn't just using them for nothing. But she said, my reality is your infidelity. I also looked up notional. I forgot what that means. Let me see. It says existing only in theory or as a suggestion or idea. I feel like he was trying to get with Aaliyah just for a simple idea to climb to the top. He wasn't really appreciating her as a person. He was just trying to use her because she was money, she was success, and she was power. Just the idea of it, you know, of being in a relationship. He wasn't really devoted to her. And then she said, no longer am I your slave. I'm glad it's finally over. This just sounds like Jay-Z, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this song. And do you think that Loose Rap is about Beyonce as well? Let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Stay crazy.
Do you remember that one night when we fell in love and what we had felt so right? Cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up. You know the feelings deep inside. So why?